Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast where we uncover the stories behind thriving businesses and bring you expert insights straight from the source. I'm so excited. We got a great show for you today. I am actually having the pleasure of speaking with David. He's the founder of Glass House Studios. How you doing, David, this morning?
Doing well. Thanks for bringing me in as part of this.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. So, for our listeners, this show is all about behind the scenes experiences to gain valuable advice. This podcast is your go to resource for learning about the businesses that shape our communities and discovering how to make the most of their services. If you enjoy this content and you want to hear more, please like, subscribe, or even give us a comment. Let us know how we're doing on our end as well. So, with that being said, we're going to jump right in and talk to David and get to know a little bit about his background. I'm telling you guys, we have a great show here, so please stay tuned.
Hi there. I am David Campiti. I own two related businesses here in the Orlando area, Glass House Studios, which is an animation company, and Glass House Graphics that handles everything for print. Um, you wanted some background, so I started out in Wheeling, West Virginia, of all places. I had worked in radio. I then moved to Massachusetts, where I was a copy chief of LG Balfour Company, where they did class rings and Super Bowl rings and stuff like that. Wrote every word that came out of that company for 4 years. Worked for the United Way for a while, and then I got into publishing. Um, ran innovation publishing for 5 years, where I worked with some best-selling authors: Anne Rice, Stephen King, Larry Niven, Jerry Purnell, folks like that. Then went on to start Glass House Graphics, where I've been packaging artwork, corporate logos, any kind of design, print, publishing work for over 30 years. And about midway into that, I started Glass House Studios, an animation studio. So we've done bits and pieces of things like Horton Hears a Who and Ice Age 4 and Nomeo and Juliet and a few other big animations. Plus, we have packaged full animated features for Hulu and for Netflix. And so a lot of people don't even realize we're here doing work for Disney and DreamWorks and Simon and Schuster and all these other big companies right under everybody's noses.
Well, I was looking at your website, the ghsanimation.com, and I was looking at some of your work, David. It's wow, in terms of quality, it's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. If anybody goes to that website, ghsanimation.com, the first thing they will see is we start an automatic video roll. So it shows 6 or 7 different animation styles we've done. There's like a cyberpunk animation style, which was a Nescafe commercial that we did for the international market. And there's just examples of CG and hand-drawn animation for 6 or 7 other things that we've done both domestically and internationally. If you go further into the website, you'll see that we do live action visual effects. What we worked on TV shows and feature films doing digital effects, whether it's someone driving in a car or explosions or any of a variety of other things. We show all kinds of examples of that. Plus, we do all sorts of related graphics. So if somebody does licensed work for Bugs Bunny or Scooby-Doo or anything like that, we can do that work for children's books or comic books or the actual animation if that division is needed. Plus, we've done, if you go to our glasshousegraphics.com website, which is our exclusively our print end, you'll see we've done everything from comic books, children's books, coloring books, corporate design. So people need logos for their local or even national or international businesses. We'll create those. We'll do all the work that's needed for business cards and stationery, so all that small stuff. But we also do the big stuff, including website design and so forth. So quite a bit of that.
I
Uh,
must, yes, I gotta say, you have so much to offer, and it's can you provide our listeners a story? Tell us some story that you would like to share with our listeners that's that aha, wow, this is, your clients were happy. Anything that comes to mind off the top of your head.
oh wow.
And I know you have a lot of them, but just one in particular.
It's what's nice is I don't have to advertise. Most of our work is from word of mouth. For
Hmm.
example, we work for uh, uh, DreamWorks, their publishing division, for years, and I was trying to get publishing work with Simon and Schuster, one of the big book publishers, because they have several divisions that do comics, graphic novels, that sort of thing, and really couldn't get a word in edgewise, so to speak, with them. Although we'd work with some of their competitors, Random House and so on. And I get this call out of the blue from the art director of Simon and Schuster. Oh, we have a big problem we need to solve. And I was talking with the art director over at DreamWorks, and they recommended you guys.
Wow.
And that ended up with Simon and Schuster becoming our biggest print client for years.
Well,
And
congratulations. And you can tell there's passion in the way you express that story, right? And it's something that you will always reflect back on. Am I right? In terms of how
sure,
that
sure.
whole process went.
Let me do a little bit of show and tell here.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, the reason they came to us was they had kids books. Like this is a group of what is this? 4 graphic novels here for goddess girls, and another kids project here, Heroes in Training. There we go. Heroes in Training, which is also 4 graphic novels. And what would happen is Simon and Schuster said, "We have a problem that we can't solve. Our publishing schedule is pretty aggressive. We want to do like 6 graphic novels a year, each one of them 160 pages, and doing basically 1,000 pages of artwork in a year is impossible for 1 or 2 or 3 artists working in a consistent style across all these books. Well,
Hmm.
there's no way this can be done, but DreamWorks said you could do it. So of course we can, because we know how to make a bunch of artists work in the same style because we work with animation. So we'd set up a team for these things and could do thousands of pages for Simon and Schuster. We did 8,000 pages of artwork for them last year.
Wow.
And Goddess Girls and Heroes in Training are 2 that are near and dear to my heart, because the art director said, "Wait a minute, don't I know your name from writing a book called Hero Alliance? I used to read that years ago." I said,
Wow.
"Yeah, I wrote Hero Alliance. I wrote Superman stories for DC Comics. I did all this other writing across the decades. Oh, would you be able to write these books for us?" Sure. So, at my age, I became a children's graphic novel writer. So that was pretty cool. And so we did the writing, the art, the lettering, the coloring, everything for it.
I like that a lot. Looking back, what's a major lesson that you learned from that you, if you had to start over, that you could share with our listeners? Anything come to mind?
Yeah, despite how great an opportunity seems, uh, don't sink a ton of money into it. Uh, the case in point, a few years ago, we had the opportunity to meet boxer Floyd Mayweather, and he loved the idea of creating a sanitized version of his life as an animated film for kids.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And we met with him, and he told us what he'd like to see. And we went back and spent a ton of time and money developing a story outline, storyboards, just all kinds of stuff for him, including an entire marketing plan for all these things. What's the perfect kids drink from Floyd Mayweather? Mayweather Punch. Uh, Coming up with things like that. All sorts of product examples, and then we took it one step further and even did an upscale adult version for him, creating a fancy logo like you'd see on Prada or Louis Vuitton or whatever, and created all these upscale things for bespoken suits with the logo and the lining and shoes and belts and a smartwatch and all that. So a ton of time and effort into this. And it was like, oh, you're my guys, we're doing this movie, all this handshaking and so forth. And then, I guess 5 minutes after we were out of the room, he was distracted by something shiny, and it never happened. So months of work and hopes built up that just never occurred. But there are enough good things that do happen that something like that doesn't kill us, but it is a disappointment. And
And
were
that's
I to do it over again, I wouldn't have gone to those lengths.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And that kind of leads me into asking you, as a business owner, can you give some advice to our listeners of what to look for, in business, some of the things you've learned, maybe a couple things to take away?
My biggest thing is, and I find this on the end of working with the artists, so I have to make sure that I don't do this outgoing to our clients. Never overpromise,
Mm.
and because you'll always end up under delivering.
Hmm.
Be the opposite, under promise and over deliver. As I tell the artists that we work with, if a client wants a book in 30 days and you can do it in 30 days, um, or faster, don't tell them you can do it faster. If you deliver in 30 days, you're on the money. You deliver
Right.
2 days ahead of time, you're a hero. You're a day or two late, you're that lying son of a gun that can't be professional about it. So
That's
we
great advice.
always need to make sure that we can do more or better than we say we will. And the word of mouth is enough to show everybody we deserve and can get the job. And then once people are working with us, it turns out even better than they thought.
Wow, that's inspiring advice, and again, I appreciate, and I know you've said so much here in terms of what you do with your business, how you're helping your customers, go through that whole process of getting that final product, out the door. And kudos to you for that and having that vision. As we wrap up here, can you provide a phone number as well as maybe a website? I think we did earlier in the episode. If you can just go ahead and say that again, how
Sure.
people can get a hold of you.
I did want to say that another
Yes.
part of what we do, because we deal with print clients and so forth, we handle coordinating printing out of China and so forth, and other products. What you see behind me, this old fashioned comic rack, we make those too. We discovered a whole group of collectors, comic shop owners, just folks like that really wanted this old-fashioned comic rack. So we manufacture those and make them available. So we can do all kinds of graphic services beyond just print and animation. We can be reached. My name, as I said, is David Campiti. We're located in Claremont. My phone number is 304-551-1283. That's my cell, the easiest way to reach me. And our websites are www.glasshousegraphics.com and the animation website is ghsanimation.com. I also have a blog for anybody interested in creating comics or working in that kind of comic or animation business. My blog is simply davidcampiti.com.
Well, David, it's been such a pleasure, getting to know you. I know we spoke a little bit before we went on this podcast, and it's just been a pleasure to talk to you and for you to share your information, what you do with your business to our listeners, and hopefully we can have you back again in the near future as well.
Oh, I'd love it. Happy to help.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to First Media Consulting Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe today. To nominate a business you would like to recommend to be on our show, go to firstmediaconsulting.com or call. Thank you for listening.